Hey there. Today we're going to be looking at a neat, simple little dice rolling game. It's called Trailhead, and it's by Two Moles Games. In Trailhead, each player is going to be working their way along a wilderness trail. They're going to be racing, essentially, to the trailhead, with the player who arrives there first being the winner. The main mechanism that the game features is you're going to be using these custom dice to build up both the ability to travel as well as a form of kind of currency that you use to buy survival gear cards, which will help you along your way, and of course, stock water, because that's the thing that you don't want to get stuck without when you're out on the trail. As I said, Trailhead is a race. You'll start at one end of the trail and work your way to the trailhead. Now, I have to point out that these pieces are not from Trailhead. Trailhead actually doesn't come with player markers. The designer says pick up a pebble or a penny, a twig, whatever it is that you want to use as a player marker. I've decided soy sauce bottles from Sushi Go. That's just how I roll. But essentially, you are going to be, every turn, rolling the dice up to 3 times, and whatever you accrue on the dice, either when you're satisfied or after your third roll, you will acquire. And if you roll a water droplet, you'll get some extra water for use during your trip. If you roll compasses, you'll mark those on your player card, which uses these little slides to keep track of how many of these resources you have at your disposal. And if you roll these trail signs, you can you'll accrue those and bank them, and then you can spend them. It takes 3 to move from one spot to the next one. Now, the trail is unknown until somebody moves ahead, but as soon as somebody spends 3 movement to get to the next tile, it becomes seen for everybody. Now, worth noting that each of these locations has a difficulty between easy to moderate to hard, and that describes how much water you'll need to spend at the end of each turn to stay there. So if you're staying on an easy spot, it's only going to cost you 1 water per turn, whereas a moderate costs 2 and a hard costs 3. And then there are the wild card locations that are random between 1 and 3. The compasses, what you spend those on are these survival cards, and those are split between single-use cards, like Pathfinder, for example, that, in addition to being a pretty good role-playing system, will actually let you turn all of your dice for one roll into trail markers, so that makes it easier to move, especially if you've gotten stuck and you need more of those symbols. Or you've got the survival cards that work every turn, like the binoculars here, that will let you peek at the next closest trail marker. Mechanically, that's it. You just roll the dice, spend your resources, get as far along as you can as quickly as possible. And that's Trailhead. Basically, it's a little dice roller, but I actually really like it. I find the presentation to be really lovely. This is kind of a small batch game. It's not mass-produced at all. In fact, as far as I know, the only way you can really order it is directly from the designer, which is great. And even though some folks sort of are put off by tins for whatever reason, I particularly like it in this case because this is the kind of game that you might throw in a backpack if you're going out and you have enough space to sort of set things out flat, and you're probably not going to want to get rained on. Here's Meeple, by the way. What I like about Trailhead is that it's simple, it's accessible. It's got nice components, you roll your dice, you earn some currency, you get yourself ready to go, and then you travel as quickly as possible. The luck of the dice is sort of mitigated by the survival cards, which hopefully will be able to sort of knock the game back into your favor if you find that you've just had a string of really bad rolls. And overall, there isn't a whole lot to manage, but what there is is nice. It's light and accessible. It's a fun little filler, and you can actually kind of mess with it a little bit. We've spoken with the designer, and he says that, the straight trail or the split trail, there are different configurations that you can do. In fact, with enough cards, you can kind of make a trail that everybody gets their own, and so you get kind of a different experience. I don't want to make it sound like it's that there's a tremendous amount of depth. At the end, you really are rolling your dice and moving as quickly and efficiently as possible, but what is done here is done very well and very neatly, and I'm actually really glad to have it in my collection. You should check out Trailhead. If Trailhead sounds like your idea of a good time, you can go to trailheadgame.com, and where you can order it directly from the publisher, and we think it's definitely worth checking out if you're in the market for a light, nature-themed dice chucker. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out that review. If you want to see more of our full-length reviews, go ahead and click over here. If you want to check out some Game in a Minute, where I do this really, really fast, go ahead and click on that playlist over there. And if you'd like to journey into the heart of our subscribers, click on the Trailhead.